Hello, I'm Linda Austin. Thank you for joining us for the Essence message for August 5th, 2012. I am the light. The light is surrounding me. The light is transforming me. The light is protecting me. Divine love is flowing around and through me, solving and dissolving all situations for the good of all. A higher power is in charge of my life, and only good can come through me. My mind is open, my heart is receptive, and miracles are happening right now. I consciously choose to raise my vibration to a place of truth and light. Yes, well, the channel has said her piece this week, about overwhelm, about keeping her nose just above water. And she has finally acknowledged that it is no one's fault but her own, She judges herself harshly in that regard. And so do many of you. We want you to be aware that the rest of this year, what a remarkable year, is all about making yourself the priority. Now, there are those of you who will say, oh no, I am meant to be a loving representative of the One. I am here to be love. That is absolutely correct. Your purpose is to be a physical manifestation of love. And that, as most everything else, charity and love starts at home. If you do not take care of yourself, if you do not love yourself, if you do not respect yourself, it is impossible for you to be respecting your neighbor, especially if you are moving into that place of taking care of, or as so many of you refer to it, caretaking someone else. Anytime that you feel your responsibility to someone else is greater than your responsibility to yourself, you need to ask yourself, what is the motivation? Now, there is maternal instinct where a mother and a father will take great pains to make sure that their offspring, their children, do not suffer, that they are taken care of, that they are fed, they are clothed. Parents will give up their own clothing, their own food for their children. That is a form of love. That is self-sacrificing. But it is not self-sacrifice to, in a positive way, to be packing yourself up and giving yourself away in little boxes to everyone you meet. Your first responsibility is to your own soul, your own spirit, your own self, your own essence. Ask yourself as a parent, what is it you want to model for your children? Do you want to model, I will starve to feed you? Now, it is heresy to say, no, you don't want to model that. Every mother will say, I would give up everything for my children. What do you teach them? What do you leave them? If you starve yourself to feed them, you leave them with a model that's awfully hard to follow and a whole bucket load of guilt. You need to respect every single soul, your own included, the souls of your children included. Ask yourself, what do I want to model for them? Do I want them to practice this same behavior? Because they will. But most of you do not have the question, am I going to starve myself to feed my children? It's much more often the phone rings, or someone calls, or someone wants something, Or, oh, could you just help me with this? Or are you available for that? Or do you have clothing for this drive? Or can you help me out with such and such? Those things can be just as demanding and drain you just as empty for nothing, except your own ego self, which says, aren't I a wonderful person? It's about balance, balance, balance. Balance with starving for your children, balance with running yourself ragged for your neighbors. And most of all, it's about not expecting yourself to be more than human. When you are making a loving choice and living your life choosing from love, that includes taking care of yourself. How can you care for someone else if you are starving yourself? You know, there's the old put your own oxygen mask on first. That's good sense, and it's good modeling. You model for your children, put your own oxygen mask on first. Because if you don't, and you try to put theirs on, and you die before they get their oxygen mask on, how does that help anyone? You have a responsibility to yourself to keep yourself in a state of mind and a state of body where you can go about being love. And if you allow yourself to become overwhelmed with requests, overwhelmed with helping others, to the point that you are not taking care of yourself, several things happen. It doesn't get done. You begin to resent it. And people begin to feel that you don't really want to be very nice because you're crabby and you're... Do you see? It serves no purpose. Except then your ego takes control and says, oh, well, I've done all this and they don't even appreciate it. How many of you have gotten yourself into the place where you feel that? Look at what I've done and they don't even appreciate it. Oh, is that why you were doing it? So they would appreciate it? We don't think so. A loving heart says, this is what I have to give. And then I have no more. I need to stop and breathe. I need to stop and sit down. I cannot carry this much today. You have a responsibility to yourself. If you are going to be love, you need to be love in a strong and healthy body, in a strong and healthy mind. And that starts with loving yourself. Give yourself permission to be tired. Give yourself permission to tell the truth. I'm just too tired to help you with that. Because do you know what happens then? Someone else gets the opportunity to do it. You are not the only person in the world who is being called to be love. What would it feel like if you assumed that if you couldn't do it, someone else would? Rather than to assume if you don't do it, it won't get done. Create the energy in the world that you want to live in. And so create a mindset that says, there are so many people in the world willing to share the load that none of us need to be burdened overly much. You are not the only person out there being love in the world. Open your awareness to the rest of them. And then, heaven forbid, perhaps you get to the place where you ask someone else to give you a helping hand. It's not enough to give. You also have to know when to say, no, I have nothing more to give. Oh, and by the way, can you help me? Receiving is much more difficult because it says, I am love and I am allowing myself to be loved. It's always easier to love someone else than it is to allow them to love you. And why is that? Because you judge yourselves so harshly. Oh, I'm not good enough, I'm not strong enough, I'm not pretty enough, I'm not smart enough. You're worth more than what you can give away. You have every right to be tired. You have every right to take time for yourself. As a matter of fact, it's necessary. Balance, balance, balance. And so for all of you out there who feel that you are being pecked to death by turkeys, tell them go eat in someone else's yard for a while. I need to build up my crops and then we'll share what I have. But you're not allowed to eat all of my grapes. You're not allowed to eat all of my apples. Because someone else has apples that need eating and grapes that need picking. It's all right to be self-focused. What do I need today? Take an inventory, not of your bank balance, but of your energy balance. What do I have energy to do today, and what can I let someone else handle? Being vulnerable is a blessing. Allow it. When it's your turn, be vulnerable. And then when you're rested and you're strong, you can be there for someone else. You get to take turns. That's how the game is played. Yes, we will close.